Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into the moments that really define the Olympics. You know the ones, when the titans fall and completely new legends are born. This question really hits on the core of what happened at the 2026 Winter Olympics. It was a total pressure cooker, where some of the biggest names in sports faced their toughest challenge, the crushing weight of expectation and the agony of just having to wait. Okay, so where do we even start? Let's kick things off with the Titans, the athletes who showed up in 2026 with the entire world pretty much expecting them to walk away with gold, no questions asked. In the women's 1,500-meter speed skating, all eyes, and I mean all eyes, were on Japan's Miho Takagi. As the world record holder, she wasn't just a favorite for gold, she was the favorite. The expectation wasn't just for a win, but for a dominant, maybe even record-setting performance. The weight of a nation was on her shoulders. And then this happened. Just look at these results. In an absolutely stunning turn of events, the pressure just seemed to mount. She finished in 6th place, completely off the podium. It was one of the first major jaw-droppers of the entire Games. And the shocks didn't stop there. Over in figure skating, Kaori Sakamoto of Japan was carrying all the hopes of her nation. This was supposed to be her crowning moment, her final golden Olympic skate. She skated this beautiful, incredibly emotional program, but this quote really just says it all, a mix of triumph and heartache. She narrowly missed that top spot and had to settle for silver. Now, that's a huge achievement, of course, but you could see the frustration. You could just feel how close she was to that gold. And, sometimes the disappointment isn't even about missing the top spot. It's about not even getting the chance to compete. The fall can be painfully literal, which is exactly what happened to Swiss snowboarder Mathilde Grimond. A devastating crash in practice forced her to withdraw from the big air final completely. Her medal hopes were just gone before it even started. But here's the thing about the Olympics, right? Every single time a giant stumbles, a space opens up, an opportunity is created. So let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this story, the athletes who seized their golden moment. So remember that 1,500-meter speed skating race? Well, in that exact same event where the favorite faltered, Dutch skater Antoinette Rietma de Jong seized her moment. This was her 4th Olympics, and she finally got it done, winning her very first Olympic gold. What a story. And her own words, right here, they just hit the nail on the head. She knew it. This had to be a race of my life. It's one thing to be fast. It's a whole other thing to deliver that single, perfect, career-defining performance on the world's biggest stage. And wow, did she ever deliver. Meanwhile, back on the figure skating ice, you had 20-year-old Alyssa Liu from the USA, who was just the picture of composure. While others were feeling the immense pressure, she went out there and delivered a stunning, flawless free skate to capture the gold medal. And to really understand how huge this win was, you have to look at this date, 2002. Think about that for a second. That's a 24-year drought for the United States in this event. She became the first American woman to stand on top of that podium in nearly a quarter of a century. Just incredible. But these stories of triumph, they aren't just for the newcomers. Some of the most powerful moments at the Olympics come from the veterans, the athletes who really embody that spirit of persistence, who have been fighting for decades for their one golden moment. Just look at this journey. This is American bobsledder Alana Myers-Taylor's career laid out right here. You can literally see the story unfold. Bronze in 2010, then a string of silvers, getting closer and closer and closer, before finally, at 41 years old, capturing that elusive first gold. Come on, that's one of the most inspirational stories from these Games, period. So, what's the common thread here? What connects the fall of a favorite with the rise of an underdog? Let's try and break down the anatomy of an Olympic upset. What really makes the impossible possible? Okay, so one key factor is what some are now calling the delay trap. We saw it happen literally with snowboarders facing weather postponements, but the idea applies to any athlete who is forced to just wait. That extra time to think, to doubt, can be absolutely crushing for someone who is physically and mentally peaked to perform at one specific moment. You really have to wonder if this played a role for an athlete like Takagi just waiting for her turn on the ice. It often seems to boil down to this 3-step recipe for an upset. It's almost a formula. First, the favorite is in the pressure cooker, feeling that intense, global weight of expectation. Second, an underdog, someone like Reitman de Young, seizes the moment. And finally, you get the breakthrough, where resilience and opportunity just collide to crown a new and sometimes completely unexpected champion.
Which kind of leaves us with a final question to think about, doesn't it? The 2026 Games showed us that maybe the definition of a giant is more than just who is supposed to win. Maybe the true giants are the ones who show the strength to overcome, to seize that moment, and to win when absolutely no one expects it.